Welcome to another Pluxbox tutorial on logic blocks. In this video we'll explore the loop list block. You can use this block when creating repetitive structures in your logic, such as displaying a list of items with similar layouts. For example, consider a scenario where you have a list of usernames in your application and want to show personalized information for each user. Let's dive into it. We are in the work data environment and we have a collection of users. If we go inside the collection, you can see that we have two elements, one for user's name and one for their job. To see the data inside this collection, we go to Data Explorer. Here we have a list of usernames and their jobs. For creating these kind of collection, you can watch our tutorial on Work Data Guide. Let's go to Workspace to create our scenario. We want to display all the usernames in our list here, and by clicking on each user, we want to show their job here. For that, start by creating a container and name it list container. Then create another container for displaying users' names and name it user container. Drag this element to the layer of the other container. For the list container, choose the direction bottom so that the user containers go on the bottom of each other. And for the space between them, choose 20 pixels. Then select the user container and to make it follows the list container setting, set its position to relative. Then add a rectangle element for the background of our user container. Drag it to the user container layer and fix its position. We also need a text element to show the name of users. Then we add another text element and write job inside it. You can set it as semi-bold to increase readability. For the last step, add another text element for displaying the user's job. Choose bold for the family and increase the size of the text. You can name this text element as job title. Let's create the logic. Start by adding a load event to our view. Then add a live list and choose the user's collection. Connect them together and add a getData block. If you hover on the result, you can see the data structure. We want to access the list of objects, so we write edges for the path. Now it's time to add the loop list block. Loop list block has different attributes including list, key path, and component output. Your list of usernames will go into the list input of the block. For key path you could use node._id to uniquely identify each user's information. The component output is usually connected to a container component which has labels or other display elements you want to replicate for each user. So select the user container and connect the component attribute of loop list to the position attribute of the container. Click on the loop list to go inside it. Inside the block you can determine extra inputs and then you can connect them from outside the block. Add a getData block and connect it to the input. If you hover on the value, you'll see that the data structure of node. If you click on object, you can see our two elements. So for the path, write node.username. Then select this text element and connect the getData block to the value attribute of the text element. Then, select the user container and add a click event to it. Now, add a buffer block. This block is used in situations where data must be buffered based on specific conditions before being forwarded to a destination. Connect the click event to the execute attribute of the buffer block. We want to show user's job, so add another path as node.job to the getData block. And connect this value to the value attribute of the buffer block. Just as you specified extra inputs, you also have the ability to craft multiple types of outputs within the output block. Just name your desired output, and it's ready to be used outside the loop. For example, right-click name and connect the result of buffer block to this output. If you go back, you can see that this output appeared on the loop list block. For the last step, select the job title text element and connect the click name output to the value attribute of this element. Let's see the result. As you can see, we have a list of our users' names, and if we click on each name, their job is displayed here. Thank you for watching this tutorial.